What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 1 of our Leicester City career mode here on FIFA 22. Yes, a new FIFA. And I'm excited to get into it with the Foxes now. Of course, finishing in 5th last year. Agonizing, of course, but, you know, workable. This year, this is a good squad. There are some good players here. And hopefully we can build on that and turn Leicester City into a perennial power on top of the Premier League and hopefully in Europe as well. Let's take a look at the expectations. Youth development is rather low. Sign at least 2 players younger than 20 with a potential greater than the average overall player. Low priority, of course. Brand exposure, sign 3 players from South America, and then within 2 seasons increase the team's experience level by getting an average age of the team up to 28, which is not something I particularly like, bringing in older players, but we'll see. They want us to win the Europa League. That's medium. High priority. Finish in a Champions League spot and reach the semifinal of the FA Cup. And then financially, within 2 seasons, increase the club worth. Hopefully we can get that done. And let's see what kind of players we have here already. Machado looks rather good. We're going to go ahead and release Ashworth. Unfortunately for him, we got Gilliam here. It's not too bad. Left winger and then a left wing back. And Carlos Machado, Brazilian. Potential between 82 and 94. Maybe that's a player we call up sooner rather than later. Left back is one of those spots that we could use eventually some help there in that spot. Now, if we get Castagne there, who I can train to play left back. Now, that's probably where I would like to go. Vestergaard is a player I like, though, in terms of pace and stuff like that. It's a little bit of a problem. Now, Fofana, luckily for us, is not injured in-game, so we can go ahead and get Fofana there. Vestergaard on the bench. 2 new signings here in Bertrand and Vestergaard, Daka as well in a good spot. Now, we're going to change this formation a little bit now. My thing with Iheanacho is that he's more of a striker and not necessarily a winger. And when we play, yes, this is the formation I'm looking for, 4-3-3. We got the overlapping fullbacks. And then we have ourselves the 3 in midfield. And then we can get strikers here. Someone like Iheanacho, Daka, can get into spots like this and play in that center forward role. I think this is probably the best way to go about it. And then as for where they're placed, we're just going to adjust Ndidi back just a little bit. Maybe not too far, but it's sort of Christmas tree-like, but the opposite way. We'll make him a CDM, and we'll move him back just a little bit. That way we have the 2 midfielders going forward. We've got all 3 of the attackers kind of involved. And then we have our overlapping fullbacks as well. That is kind of how I like it. That's how it seems it's going to work out. And as for this would be our starting lineup right this moment, I feel like. And, you know, not too bad. We've got a lot of fullbacks. We probably have 1 too many fullbacks. But we've also got Lookman. I forgot they bought him in. That is a player that I quite like. Another player who can play anywhere along that front 3, really. So this puts us in a good spot. We're pretty deep in a lot of positions. Fullback is obviously very good right now. Midfield, we have Ndidi, Tielemans, Madison, and then we have Chowdhury. Mendy can play there. Amartey can play there if he needs to. Samare. I'd like another kind of forward-thinking kind of midfielder here, kind of like behind Madison kind of player. And then up front, we have Vardy. And then Daka behind him, and then Barnes. Lookman can play there. And then Iheanacho. Do we have anyone else? I mean, Albrighton could play there. Maybe that's a place we look to go ahead and strengthen. And then as for center back, we're pretty decent in terms of depth. We've got Johnny Evans here as well. Another player who is a little bit older, but, you know, good enough to have himself a spot in this team. Now, we've got a couple names that we looked at in the transfer hub already. This is an excellent kind of player that I would look to bring in as well. Anthony on the right, if we want to upgrade there. Renier is a player who's out on loan currently, but someone we can keep an eye on. In midfield, Kakare, McKennie, and Zakaria. who can play midfield and center back as well. So we got some names there. Names I kind of like. We'll see what happens. If anything, that spot behind Madison is a spot I really want to go to early on here. And I'm leaning Eze's way. One thing about Eze is that he can play that spot, but he can also play on that left side of the midfield there where what's his name's playing? Harvey Barnes, another player who we'd look to build around as we go forward. There's a good core here, an excellent core. Before his injury, of course, Fofana looking excellent. Unfortunately for him, that injury was rather serious and ridiculous injury, really. Something that should not have happened to him, but he's going to have to move through that. But center back, you know, we got a good player there in Fofana. We've got good players in Madison, Tillemans. The midfield trio is excellent. Though we should expect some interest from out and about, but there are some good players there. Vardy's getting a little bit older, but Daka looks bright. So hopefully, you know, we can move forward and really, really, really push ourselves into the upper tiers of Europe. We're going to have to buy right. We're going to have to buy smart. We don't have the biggest budget like some of these other teams. As we go ahead and beat Betis, Vardy with a goal, and Castagne with a goal, or Castaigne. I've heard people say it both ways. We're going to go with whatever comes out of my mouth while we're doing it. We do play on ultimate difficulty. One thing I do got to go ahead and check is, I'll start it right now, but we will go ahead and show you the sliders when I put them on. One thing I want to do now is we already have it ready to roll. Injury frequency, injury severity. We want to go ahead and get more realistic injuries, 2, 3, you know, weak injuries, and then, you know, have them a little bit more often. You know, the only injuries you really get, players are out for 7 months. You get one injury and that's it. It's gone for the year, and that's the only injury you get all year. It's kind of strange, kind of annoying, but, you know, we'll kind of deal with it, won't we, as we go forward. But we're going to go ahead and change the team around just a little bit here before our second game. We're going to give him a go, and we'll just roll with this team. Why not? Can we get another win? It's 2-2. Not too bad. Madison and Daka with the goals. Seferovic with a double for Benfica. And a win over Mineiro will get us into the semifinal, which is nice. We can get a little bit more money in here. But we are going to do some transfer stuff today. Obviously, we're taking a look at the team, taking a look at a variety of different things. One thing we do need to do while we're here is get Castagne training at left back, because I kind of want him starting there. Well, you know what? Yeah, we'll train him for left back. I do want him starting there, but the thing is, we don't have a backup at right back, though we might be able to do a little bit of swapping. Castagne is a player I see play on the left. I know I'm not crazy there, so, you know, it is what it is. But we'll get someone else to play out on the right as well. So let's go ahead and go to position and go to left back. And that should not take him long. As for players who can play at right back, Justin is a player who can play at right back. I'm just going to swap those around. Castagne is the best of the fullbacks not named Pereira. So I want to make sure he's starting. And then we can have our backups in Justin and Thomas and Bertrand and, you know, get them going. Bertrand was a nice little signing. Free, of course, but... Oh, well then maybe we can get... We'll accept it. We'll accept Luke Thomas out on loan. He's 20. Player can use the experience. And we're just going to do it. We're going to go into the transfer market early on here. And it's going to come from Eze, between 14 and 19 million. He's 77 overall at the age of 23. But an excellent player who can play a variety of different positions that we incorporate into the team. And he's not necessarily in the need to be a starter. They want Justin. No, we're going to remove exchange player. Propose new transfer fee. We'll go up to 15. See what they say. They want 21 with a sell-on clause of 15. We're going to remove the sell-on clause, propose a new transfer fee down to 20. See what they say. They really want 21. That's fine. We'll roll with it. 21 million for Eze. I think he's worth at least that in real life. I'm comfortable with that. He wants to be rotation. That I'm comfortable with as well. Gonna 5 years. He's comfortable with it. Disregard release clause. Look at that. And he's currently on 40K over there. We'll give him 45. 46 is fine. We'll give him a decent little signing bonus. Oh, he wants 47. All right. All right. We're fine. We're fine. We're comfortable with it, Eze. We're comfortable with it. And in he comes. Eberici Eze, the new Leicester City player. The thing is, I kind of want him on the bench. Luke Thomas is going to be leaving. Where do I put him on the bench here? Do I do it ahead of Perez, a player who I'm willing to sell Perez? Lookman can play. Can he not play on the right? Do we not have a player who can technically play on the right here? Albrighton. Maybe we'll keep Perez around this year, but we don't need him necessarily starting or on the bench. That can be just Iheanacho's spot for the moment. Now, not too bad. That's an excellent player to bring in. As I said, he backs up Madison, can play where Barnes is playing, just in case there's an injury or anything like that. We have Lookman who can play there as well. Maybe for the year. Is Lookman here on loan? I'll have to look. I'm pretty sure he's here on... I thought he was here on loan. He is here on loan. Okay. So for the year, what I think we can do is go ahead and move him over to the right side. Or I can just put him... If I can just put him at center forward, which is technically the position. Take him 4 weeks to learn. And we'll be able to play him out on the right. And Eze can back up on the left wing as well. And we'll have a third option in Perez. So that's a pretty decent spot. Let's see if we can go ahead and get ourselves to the semifinal. Or into the final. This is the semifinal. Madison and Vardy bringing us into... Oh, that is going to put us in the semifinal. I thought for a moment that was it. But in the semifinal... An offer has come in for Yuri Tielemans. 53 million. That was not enough. I'll delegate this down. If they want to pay 100 million for Tielemans, they can pay 100 million for Tielemans. But I don't expect them to, and I don't necessarily want to get rid of him. Talks are broken down, and that is fine. Tielemans stays for the moment. An offer has come in for Amarty. I kind of, I don't want to mess around with our center backs right this moment, or any players who can play in midfield as well. We're not exactly filled to the brim with those players. We're going to need to make a couple changes here. Let's go ahead and get James Justin in. Bertrand can go ahead and have a start. Eze can get his first start. Daka up front. Perez can play out on the right. And Chowdhury, might as well bring him onto the bench. Why not? And we'll go from there. And we're going to get on through. We're not going to get through any games today. Sexo's not going to be a ton. Oh, we were beaten on penalties. Come on. What happened? Yeah, oh, it's Lazio. I keep forgetting that Latium's not a real team. It's a bloody Lazio. Immobile with the goal. And then we missed our last 2 penalties. Man, that is annoying. Out we go in the semifinal. I keep forgetting that FIFA doesn't have all those things there in Serie A. It's super, super annoying, but you know, we shall see. As for more transfers, I'm not expecting to do a ton more business here in this window. Possibly one more, maybe. Anthony would be a good option there on the right. Problem is that is a little bit too much money for what we've got. Midfielder, if one of them leaves. But for the moment, I mean, as you could we sneak Anthony in? If he were making that, I mean, we might have to sell another player. If we sold one more player, a player I'm not opposed to losing, then we can go after Anthony and bring him in, and he can play on the right with Iheanacho. I think that would be a really, really good set of options that we would have up front. And then we could move Perez on. Actually, let's go ahead and put Perez on the block. A player that's got mixed reviews as a... this is a player I don't want to get rid of either, Albrighton. Perez has got mixed reviews at Leicester. So, you know, putting him on the list is not too much of an issue for me, as an offer's come in for Vardy. Just going to go ahead and reject that off the rip. Omarty, that'll be rejected. If we can move Perez on... if we can move Perez on, then we will go ahead and go for Anthony. Other than that, we are just going to go ahead and take a look at the calendar and jump forward to the Community Shield, which would be on the 1st in Europe. But we have a nice start. Leicester haven't started brilliantly in real life, but this is a start that we can look at and really go after. So we'll come back in just a second. All right. Here it is, folks. A £15.5 million offer for Perez. We're just going to accept it. That is just a number we are going to go ahead and accept. We could have gotten up to 16 according to our player there, or assistant manager, or whatever it may be, but I am comfortable with 15.2. And we've moved Castagne to left back, and now we can move Justin over to right back, and we will be set to go, as he can now play left back, right back, and so can Castagne. But as soon as that sells, it looks like we are going to get our second player and probably our final player of the window in, as we go ahead and look forward to... Oh no, they've ended the transfer talks. Oh, they couldn't agree to terms. That is a huge shame. So I guess we're not going to get him in today, are we? That is an absolute shame, as another offer has come in, this time from Frankfurt. We're just going to accept that one as well. That is a shame. So it looks like maybe next episode we'll get Anthony in. Let's take a look at our squad reports here. I normally only bring in players who get up to 94. Doesn't look like we are going to get any other players in. So we'll go ahead and reject this slot and then take a look at our youth academy before we end this episode. In the next episode, we'll be kicking off the Community Shield. And excuse the dog barking in the background. And then we got ourselves a scouting report here, and it doesn't look like too many. We got a lot of 92s. There's a 94. But throughout the year, we normally get plenty of 94s to bring in to the Youth Academy. Let's go ahead and take a look at it before we go here. Youth Academy. There's some nice numbers here. Machado looking really, really good. And hopefully, we'll just keep him on left wing back, because it looks like he's growing some excellent, excellent traits. And then we've got two goalkeepers. And then, of course, the two we started with, Machado and Gilliam, guys. Well, that is going to be it. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it going forward in this Leicester City career mode. But that is going to be it for now, guys. As I said, I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more. And peace.